Good morning, everybody. Silas back out here at the junkyard. We've got a quick little fun adventure. Well, I think it's going to be quick. I don't know. We'll see. I've been out here crushing cars, and I got this van dug out, and I just happened to glance inside it, and it looks like there's quite a bit of stuff in here. A bunch of aluminum wheels. Looks like some carburetors, alternators, starter maybe. And then up here, a bunch more carburetors, and I can't really tell what all's in here. Hubcaps maybe, some license plates. And then also on top of all that, it's got a tilt column in it that doesn't have keys. The keys are off to the side, I mean, and so these are a fairly valuable piece. And so I thought it would be a fun and interesting video to take this van and see how much it's worth like it is with all the stuff in it. Well, not like it is. Oh, you know what I'm saying, where we clean it out, get the stuff out of it, how much is everything worth total. Most of the wheels inside, most of the aluminum inside is just going to be scrap, but like I say, there's some license plates, hubcaps, a couple carburetors that might be worth something, and the steering column. So today we're going to clean it out, part it out, get it ready to crush. I'll keep track of everything as we go, and we'll see what it's worth at the end. Real quick, if you're wondering why I even have that van, why it's full of aluminum wheels like that, and I guess if you don't care about history, you can skip this part of the video. But what we did was we used to go around to salvage yards, other people's salvage yards, and crush cars for them. We don't do that anymore, not really anyway. Every once in a great while we'll do that, or we'll do like farm cleanups where we pull into a place and buy everything there. But that was at an actual salvage yard, and we would pull in there about once a year, once every other year, and we would crush out about 300 or 400 cars for them. And we would pull all the aluminum wheels, the copper radiators, catalytic converters, things like that off, and we would stack them up, and then like that van there have that tilt column in it, and even back then, way back then, those were worth money. And so I didn't have time to pull it, so we just packed it clear full of all the stuff we were keeping and brought the whole thing home, paid them for it. That was probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago. It was clear full to the top, but there were some copper radiators in there, and we didn't get it cleaned out in time. Thieves found out about it, and for a period of time we didn't have a security system out here, and so the thieves came in, cleaned a bunch of the stuff out of it to get those copper radiators. But anyway, that's the history of that van, why we have that van, why it's full of aluminum. So I'm going to get the equipment going. I've got a lot of other stuff going on today too, so we'll just kind of work on that van in between everything else. Some of these are glued to the carpet. They've been in there a long time, full of rat's nest. Yep, coming along nicely. I saw this old rally wheel here, but the slot rim, but man, I don't know. I don't feel like messing with it. I'm just keeping track of these wheels and counting them. That was number 9, number 10. These are going to be about 40 pounds a piece. And then I'm just kind of estimating on the other stuff. Obviously I can't get an exact weight on what's in here, but you know, something like that there, that's going to weigh, that's a pretty heavy one there, about 3 pounds. Stuff like this doesn't weigh hardly anything. And then all the electric motors, I'm tossing those down here. Those will go in the electric motor box. I used to throw my alternators in the scrap aluminum because motors at that time were like 24, 25 cents a pound in electric motors, and aluminum was like 35 or 40 cents a pound. So I always threw them in the aluminum, but now it's kind of switched the other way around again. So I'll start throwing them in the electric motors. I know if you keep them separate, they're worth quite a bit more. And same thing with starters. If you keep them separate, they're worth more. But I don't get enough starters or alternators to justify keeping them separate, so I just mix them all together. I used to have a guy, his full-time job was just to pull parts off. He'd pull starters, alternators, distributors, ECMs, steering gearboxes off of certain vehicles, and I had a core buyer that came through and bought all that stuff, but that core buyer still owes us $15,000, so we told him until he's ready to pay us what he owes us, he doesn't get any more. That was about 6 or 7 years ago, so I don't think he's going to pay us at this point. And it just really soured me on the whole core buying experience, so I just quit saving cores. So in the process of cleaning out the back half of this van, I found two things that might be worth something. I found this Motorcraft carburetor here, although it's pretty rusty and it's stuck. I can't get the throttle or the choke to move. And then I found this ribbed valve cover. I'm not sure if this is anything good or not. It's pretty corroded, but it doesn't look to be broken, so it could be media blasted back down and probably fixed fairly easily. It's all just mainly surface corrosion. I think it'd come off of there fairly easy. Or maybe you could do an acid bath or something like that. But I'm going to look these up and see if either of these are worth anything. All right, just looked them up. This is just a common carburetor. If it was in better condition, if even just one of these would move. But being both of them are stuck like this, and it's not like a rare carburetor, I'm probably just going to go ahead and do this with it. I've got a million other carburetors to sell already, so that can just go in the scrap. It's not worth messing with, honestly, for whatever it's worth. It would probably sell. I could probably get 30 bucks out of it eventually, but like I say, I've got a million Motorcrafts already that are in better condition than that, so why focus on selling that one when I can sell the others? But this, if I'm reading it correctly online, this is for like a V6 Buick, like a Grand National or something like that. It would be really cool if the second one was in here somewhere, so we'll keep looking for it, but even just the one I think would sell. In cleaned up condition, these are selling for about 200 bucks a pair. So a single, you would think in theory would be worth about 100, but obviously this one here is going to need quite a bit of work. But it's a fairly rare piece. It's not like ultra rare, but there's only a couple pairs on eBay at the moment, and so I think this in here would sell fairly easily for about $75. So we'll go ahead and save it. I mean, that's not a ton of money, but I don't know, it might be a waste of time to save that. Maybe it should just go in there too. But at the same time, I mean, I'm trying to find some cool stuff, and I feel a little bit guilty throwing like that in there and like that slot rim in there, so saving that valve cover absolves my guilt just a little bit for those. But I'm going to go dump the bucket, and then I'll come back over here, and I guess I'll have to climb in here now and start handing the stuff out. My helper's on the way. He overslept a little bit today. He'll be here shortly, so maybe I could do some other stuff while I wait on him, and then we can two-man the rest of this. Oh, right there it is. Bingo, we have a pair. Oh, this one's busted. I see now why they were in the junk. Of course, it probably got busted when they got tossed in the junk. Man, I don't know. Maybe somebody wants it for wall art or something like that. It is kind of a cool piece. I guess I'll go ahead and save it. Whoa, it's about not yet. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Found an alternator in there. Let's see here. This is a 1967. I'll look the number up real quick. Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and save this one. Well, I don't know. Something's messed up inside it. Something's not working right. Yeah, and you probably can't tell on camera, but there's definitely something wrong inside this one, so probably a reason why it was in the junk. We'll just go ahead and pitch it. Oh, what was I doing? That doesn't go in there. It goes out here. There we go. Come on. There we go. Ooh, all sorts of good stuff. Nebraska. What do we got here? Rambler. Looks like a Plymouth, like a Valiant. There's a good carburetor. We'll save that one for sure. What is that? Carter AFB. 3721SB. I'm not sure. I don't recognize that number. But it is a pretty good one. I looked it up. That's about a 65, 66, 327, a 300 horse, 327. So that's the good one. This carburetor doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit rusty from being exposed to humidity and stuff over the years, but it wasn't like getting directly filled with water, so I think it's fixable. In this condition, it's probably not worth a ton of money, but probably about 75 bucks. If everything moved on it still, it'd probably bring 150. I'll take it home, spray it, see if I can get it to move, but more than likely I'm just gonna sell it like it is. Somebody else can take it apart, rebuild it, put new bushings in it, all that good stuff. Keep going through here. That's scrap. That's just scrap. Keep that. Here's a bent pry bar. These hubcaps here, well, that one's not bad. Some of them are pretty rough, but these small hubcaps like this I sell quite a bit because they're easy and cheap to ship, and so I'm able to sell those to people to hang them on the wall or whatever. Yeah, nicer ones like that I may try to sell, but these rough ones, I mean, I'll sell them all, but these here I sell a whole lot cheaper. But I sell them in bulk. I won't sell just one or two. Now check this out. This one's all rusted from filling with water, so it's no good. But something that I used to save all the time, and somewhere I have a bunch of these if I can find them, but I used to save all the lights off the roofs of these old conversion vans, and back in the day they weren't worth nothing, but nowadays these things sell for pretty good money when they're in good condition. Obviously this one's no good, but if I can ever find that stash, I have probably 100 or more of these things, so probably quite a bit of money laying there. Got a center cap off of a hubcap. All the studs are still good on it. That might be something, I don't know. Oh boy, I was about to start filming and here comes the train. Always. So here's a blast from the past. When I was a kid, when I'd go help my dad crush these cars, back in those days he did most of the crushing. Up until I was about, I was probably 15 or 16, I started crushing a lot. But up until then, he did most of the crushing, and sometimes I would move cars around and help process them and get them closer to the crusher and stuff with one loader while he did the crushing with the other loader. But when I wasn't doing that, I'd go through and I'd pull license plates, I'd pull emblems, I'd pull hubcaps, anything I thought was cool. And so evidently we crushed a Cordoba that day, because here's all the Cordoba emblems. The little gold things, those are cool. Little gold medallions. And then I saved all the keys out of them. Well, that's just a key ring there. The bunch of keys. That's probably nothing there. I used to save every emblem though off of the older cars anyway, the metal ones. I saved some of the plastic ones, but we really didn't crush that many plastic emblem cars. That was too late model for us. But yeah, I'll go ahead and save these keys and these emblems. I mean, they've been laying around now for how many years? But I do sell quite a few emblems and keys and stuff like that. What I do, once again, same thing as the rough hubcaps, is I put a bunch of them in one group and sell them on eBay. Whenever I'm getting ready to list something like a big lot of license plates or emblems or whatever, I always put a post on my Instagram and Facebook stories. That way people can be notified about it. Plus I have over 2,000 followers on eBay. You can follow people on eBay. A lot of people don't realize that, and so then whenever I post new stuff, it's easy to check and see what I've posted. This hubcap here is completely rusted out on that one side, which is a shame. There's a VW hubcap. We must have crushed an old Volkswagen. Looks like a bus maybe. I don't know, regardless of what it was, it's no good now. There's some more here. A Nissan, a Cougar, a D off of a Ford, and a Valiant 100. We must have crushed a Valiant because there's a full set of hubcaps, and here's the emblem off of it. Yeah, this is a good and tight column here, so I'm definitely going to save that. Probably pull that next week or something. And looks like a bunch more hubcaps. There's a Cougar hubcap there, kind of a cool one. I guess what I'll do, just for the sake of easiness, is I'm just going to go ahead and get all this stuff out of here. I'll set it all out, and then we'll go through it. What in the world is this that I just found? It was down here on the floor. Some sort of crock pot type deal, I don't know. I know it's not a crock pot, but I don't know what the right word for it is. Interesting. Huh. Guess I'll look it up, see if it's worth anything. Okay, I just looked this up. This is a butter crock is what this is, and ones identical to this are on eBay for $10 or less, and so I mean, not worth anything. We'll just leave it in there, and when this van gets crushed, it'll get crushed right along with it. I'm going to endeavor to crawl through here and see if I can get this other door open. Move some of this junk out of the way. All this glass. Try not to put my leg on it. I gotta crawl up in here like this. As you can see, it's not exactly comfortable doing this sometimes. Oh! I just leaned on this seat and it just about collapsed on me. Lean backwards. Rusty. Okay. Whew, there we go. That'll make getting this stuff out of this side a lot easier. Okay, go back around. There we go. Alright, we got... Oh, that hubcap there is not worth saving. It's too rough. Too rough. If they're too rough, I can't do anything with them. Like that one there. Minnesota, 1971. I used to save every spring-loaded hood ornament I came across. I mean, I saved every one. At one time, I probably had 500-600 of those things. I got rid of most of them that were broken, because a lot of times when I would save them, I would just grab a hold of them and yank them off. I mean, I was just a kid saving them for really no reason. So now if they're busted, I don't save them. If they're still good, I save them because they sell. Obviously that one won't. Stack of late model Kansas tags. What's the newest one? 2003 it looks like. That'll kind of give me an idea of when we crushed them. So it would have been about 2003, so what, 22 years? It might have been a year or two old at that time, so I mean, hard telling. But yeah, definitely probably at least 20 years. What's this, a Thunderbird? That's kind of a cool cat. Ford, like a 50s. A little bit rusty, but it'd work good for wall art. Was that Chrysler? Mercedes. American Motors. It's always interesting looking at these old hubcaps because, I mean, I crushed every single one of these cars. But okay, I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these out, set them out over there, and we'll go through it all then. I think we're down to the last of it. Here's an old Dr. Pepper bottle, but it's not that old. Probably leave it there. A couple fishing poles. I thought about saving them. You know, I had this idea of making a junkyard fishing video where I find an old junkyard reel and pole and fix it up. But I've already got several in both of these. You can see where mice have chewed on them, so probably just leave those there. And then here's an old flashlight, but man, this thing has definitely seen better days, so probably just leave that in there. That hubcap's too far gone, but I did find this hood ornament here, and it's not busted. The whole wire came out, so I guess I'll go ahead and save it. But I think that's it for this van, other than the steering column, but we'll pull it next week. I usually sell those for 150 bucks, just as is, where is. Real nice ones I get more. If they're real rough, I get less, but everything seems to work on that one, so we'll just say 150 bucks. So let's check out everything we got. We got a pile of license plates here, a Thunderbird hubcap. I got the 64 Plymouth Valiant. I'm glad it was marked because I couldn't figure out what it was out of, but it's marked with Sharpie, 64 Plymouth Valiant. I looked it up, and 63 to 65 Valiant and Dart are the same thing, and they're listed anywhere from 100 to 150 bucks plus shipping. And then over here is all the other hubcaps. Most of these are just going to go in my bulk wall art pile where somebody just buy them in bulk. I think the only ones I'll probably keep separate and try to sell individually. I got this Buick hubcap here, this American Motors here, and maybe the Mercedes here, just because it's got good patina on it. So I think those three will sell. The rest of these, I mean, there's a few of these like those. There's a set of 3 of those Cadillacs. One of them's all mangled. It's in the aluminum box, but I mean, I could probably get 50 or 60 bucks eventually, but it would be a very, very slow sell. And with hubcaps, I usually only mess with them if they're a fairly easy to sell, or there's something that's really cool. Like this American Motors over here, that thing's in really good condition. Oh, where's that Cougar at? I forgot about that Cougar. Got a bunch of emblems and keys right here. Got the carburetor and the valve covers. I forgot about that one. There it is. That's just a cool hubcap. I might hang that on my wall. I don't know. I didn't really look that one up. I don't know if it's worth anything or not, but I just thought it was really neat. So yeah, I'll keep those 4 hubcaps separate. The rest of those I'll just go throw in a pile. Somebody comes through, and just depending on how many they buy and how picky they are, I'll go anywhere from, you know, 3, 4, 5 bucks a piece. If they just want to buy 10 hubcaps, you know, it's 5 bucks a piece. And even then, if they get too picky, sometimes I'll go a little bit higher. But if they're just like, I want 10 random hubcaps, 5 bucks a piece, 50 bucks, take them. But if they come out and they say, hey, I want to buy 300 hubcaps, then we can work a deal out. Especially if they don't look at beat up ones like that Rambler or that really rough Valiant and be like, oh, I don't want that one. If they start doing that stuff on me, the price goes up. I miss selling them to Chewy's. Chewy's wasn't picky at all. Although I say that, they wouldn't buy, out of a load of 1,000 hubcaps, they didn't want more than about 20 or 30 of the wire style hubcaps. So I could throw a few in there, but they didn't want too many of those. They mainly wanted the all chrome ones. However, on the flip side of that is like air cleaner covers, the chrome air cleaner covers, or even older air cleaner covers that have writing on them that would say like 455 Buick and stuff like that. They would buy those as a hubcap as well. So I was able to throw a bunch of those in on the deal. Well, I guess it's not a real high dollar hubcap, but it's neat. So honestly, I'll probably keep that for myself. Everything else that I got out of this van, I'm just going to sell or scrap. But that one there, I'll probably just keep for myself, clean it up a little bit, hang it on the wall. I'm not a huge Cougar fan. I don't know why I like that hubcap. It's just something I haven't seen that many of, and I don't know, why not? That's usually the basis of my collection, is because I felt like it in the moment. Like I said, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I saved all the emblems for no real reason. I wasn't even careful about how I pulled them. I just ripped them off with a screwdriver and busted most of them, but it wasn't about value or anything like that. It was just basically, is it cool or is it not? Nowadays, most of the stuff I save is about value. And value to me, I should say, because people look at stuff like that truck and like, why don't you just crush that thing? It's all beat up, rusted out, nothing good left. But it's got the tailgate, and I figured I can cut the back of that bed off, and boom, there's $400. Super simple, takes about 20 minutes to do it. Whereas other crushers, they don't have that market. They haven't established that market with buyers, and so to them, it's worthless, and so they just crush it. So everybody has their own little niche that they like to deal in. Anyway, I'm going to do a little bit of math, see what all this comes out to. We got, see here, let's do a little bit of math. We got 39, 40 times 40 is 16, about 1,600 pounds of aluminum breakage out of here, counting the wheels and the other stuff. And then we've got a little bit of electric motors here in this pile. I'm not sure what's here, but I'll do some quick math, add it all up. I'll add the steering column in, and we'll see what the contents of this van was worth. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm not going to count the actual scrap. Well, should I count the scrap value of the van itself? I don't know, what do you guys think? I guess I can. I mean, the value of this van, like it is sitting here now, minus the steering column, there's no converter on it, it's just scrap weight. Probably looking at about $600. But outside of that $600, counting the column, the hubcaps, the license plates, the jack, the electric motors, the aluminum breakage, all these hubcaps, license plates, emblems, valve covers, carburetor, I'm guessing, just guessing, this is a rough estimate, somewhere around $1,000. You could say 800. Very conservatively, probably 1,000. If the guy really nickel and dimed and was patient on these hubcaps, you could get even more than that. So I think 1,000 is a fair number. So 1,000 plus 600 is $1,600 is what this van was worth. That is quite a bit more than I was expecting. I was thinking there's going to be, maybe 1,000 counting the van itself. Just crazy that we probably paid, I don't know, probably $200-300 for the van, and probably another $100 for the stuff inside it. So we have $300 to $400 invested in this. And of course, we saved it for 20 years, and we lost a lot of copper radiators out of it. But still, at the end of the day, I mean, $1,600 off a $400 investment. I think that's a little bit better than the stock market would have done in the same amount of time. I guess it depends. If you would have invested in Amazon, you probably have more than that now. But I mean, just in general. Well, now I'm curious. Now I'm going to have to actually get on Google and do the math. If I had invested, say, $400 into just random stocks at a 10% return over the course of 20 years, what would it be now? This is the cool thing about ChatGPT, is you just go like this. $400 at a 10% return for 20 years. Let it do its thing for a minute. It's working. And it pops up and it has it tells you the formula that you should use in case you want to do it longhand. But then the answer at the end of this is $2,691. So I guess we would have been better putting it in the stock market. We lost $1,000 by putting it into a rusty junk van. But if we had put it in the stock market, I wouldn't be able to make this video today of digging through all this fun stuff. Plus, you never know, it might have got put into bad stocks and it might be worth a whole whopping $50 now or $0 now. But oh well, that's the name of the game. That's probably why you shouldn't hang on to stuff quite as long as what we do. But we've been working hard on that this year, crushing a lot of stuff. It's looking a lot different out here now than what it was before. Slowly but surely, I am eliminating my hoarding ways. If it's not worth good money to where I can just flip it and sell it, I'm not going to mess with it. And I do some hoarding, I guess you could call it. But when I go to an auction, I might dump, $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $50,000, whatever it might be. But I work really hard and fast to get my money back really quickly, and then I get make some profit off the deal. And then after that's where I get in trouble, and I slow down and I stop selling as much out of that lot of stuff. And so that's where I can get in trouble, rather than bunkering down hard and heavy and just selling everything that I got at the auction. I need to get a little bit better about that, but I always worry, like, if I just only kept, you know, $200 items and never kept anything worth less than that, what happens if you have a slow time and there's another train coming? That's about the 10th train in the last 45 minutes. It's been a busy morning for trains. Anyway, like I was saying, I think it's good to have a mix of investments. You have a little bit of scrap investment, you have a little bit of vintage car part investment. I have some crypto, I have some stocks, I have a little bit of everything. That way, if one thing falls apart, I've got something else I can turn to. I mean, they may come out with new scrap regulations tomorrow that completely destroys the scrap industry, and so then I'll be glad that I have 10 semi-trailers packed full of vintage car parts. It gives me something to fall back on. Sometimes in the moment, I'm like, man, this stuff stresses me out. I have too much stuff. But sometimes it's good to have too much stuff for that reason. And I've already made it clear to my family, if something happens to me, don't worry about it. Don't mess with it. Call an auction company, call a crusher. I don't really care. Just here's the number of the auction company, here's the number of a crusher you can call. Take your pick and go with it. Don't feel guilty, don't feel bad, just get rid of the stuff. I have no clue why we got into all that. Sometimes I get on these random tangents, but you guys like hanging out with me, at least some of you do. If you stuck around this far in the video, you're probably one of the ones that do like hanging out with me. But I have a lot of work to get done today outside of this video, so I'm gonna get to that. I hope you guys enjoyed just this quick little fun video of digging through the van and doing a little bit of math. But as always, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Remember to get out there, find yourself an adventure, and hopefully there's not quite so many trains. We'll see you on the next one.